Hey everybody, Kimberly here with a really cool cooperative game that I did not think was possible to make but is so fun. I love Texas Hold'em, I love playing poker, and this is the cooperative poker game. And poker is quintessentially a very competitive game. But in this case, we are working as a team trying to crack into a bank and not set off the alarms. And we must do so by trying to read each other's choices because we are not allowed to communicate. Now, there is a 52 card deck, much like you have in a regular playing deck of cards for poker. And you are going to shuffle it up and deal everybody their Texas Hold'em hand. This is going to be your pocket cards. These are going to be 2 of your total 5 cards that you will make your best hand with. And we have a whole ranking right here. If you forget how to play Texas Hold'em, look at this. High card is the worst, all the way up to a royal flush. And that's it. So weak hand, strong hand. You keep this in front of you. Every player gets one of these. And yes, this goes up to 6, which is so cool. So what you're going to do, this is gameplay. I've got a little cheat sheet card for this as well. On your, for the game, you're going to look at your deck. Let's see how I look at this hand. Okay, so I'm looking at a 6 of diamonds and a 10 of hearts. So I'm going to keep my hand face up. So this is going to be the amount of chips that you have for 6 players. When you play with 3, 4, 5, or 6, all you need to do is just take the number that you have and put the others back into the box, because every player is going to be able to take, in the very first round, pre-flop, one of these markers that says what their pecking order is, essentially, like how good their hand is to how weak their hand is. So this is it. Round 1, you're using the white chips, and it says deal 2 cards per player and then lay out and take the white chips. This is pre-flop. We do not see any cards yet from the deck. So let's think about this. A 6-10 has the possibility for a 7-8-9. I don't think it's going to happen, but I could possibly get a straight. But right now, I'm not dealing with any face cards. I'm not dealing with an ace. I don't have any pairs. I think this is a pretty weak hand. So what I'm going to do is take a chip from the center that indicates how weak or strong my hand is. And high stars, high cards, nice cards, strong cards. A fewer amount of stars, not so great. So let's say I take the 1 and I put that in front of me. My fellow players are looking at their cards and they're trying to figure out, okay, Kim thinks she has a pretty weak hand. I think my hand is actually really bad. So instead of taking from the center, a player could take one from a player in front of them and say, no, you know what? I think I actually have the worst hand comparatively at the table. This is all about comparing. We don't know. You can't say out loud. And then I see someone else take the 3, and then I think, well, I definitely don't have the best hand. This is not the best hand. There's no way it can be the best hand. So then I say, okay, I'll take the 2. And then the last player is going to simply take that chip. Now, that's it. We are just telling each other where we think our hand is. Now, that's fine. We're just going to leave those chips exactly where they are. And then we are going to deal out the flop. So we are going to, I always do poker where you do the 1 and you stick it under and then you do the 1, 2, 3. That's just the way I do it. And I'm going to deal out 3, 8, 8 for our flop. So I'm going to put this card, this is going to be my toss card. So this is the flop. Now we have to, I'm going to take out that 5 and 6 and I'm going to line these up again, and we're going to see based on the flop, now where do you think your hand is? I still have a 6-8. Again, I can get maybe on the turn a 7 and on the river a 9, but it's probably not going to happen. I did not pair up. I didn't get anything, and so I'm going to try again to signal to my fellow players, I think I've got a pretty bad hand. And then this player, maybe they hit something, maybe they got something, and they're like, okay, maybe I have the second worst hand. And then this player says, my hand changed, and then this player says, okay, fine, I think that you're probably a little bit better than me, depending on what their cards are. See, now I don't know what these cards are right now, honestly, I just dealt out hands. So we are looking at this now. And we just keep going. We're going to put these chips here, essentially saying this is where we think we are, this is where we have been going, and we're going to deal out. Here's our next card, and we're going to deal out. Wow, my hand changed. Okay, so now we are going to do the turn. We're going to put out the orange chips. I'm going to leave 4, 1 for every player. And I'm looking, and I had been taking some of the weaker ones, and I now have an over pair. Like, my 10s beat anybody else's 8s. Now, there might be a person who has 3 8s. In that case, they should definitely be taking this. But I beat 3s now. So maybe I take this one. And then let's say, nope, this guy says, no, I want to take that one. And then these guys jump in and say, this person is now, there's no way I'm getting first place. That was not a good play for me. And now I'm stuck taking that 10. But I also think perhaps I might have the best hand here. Who knows? There might be someone who had pockets, like a jacks, queens, kings, aces. They might have played that way, but they got worse and worse and worse. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. And now we are going to play a card out, and we are going to deal out the card here, and it is a jack. Okay, so now we are essentially looking at the entire thing. We got the river card. We have everything that's out here. And this is the only thing that matters. We were giving each other information all along the way by taking a particular chip that put us in comparative order. But this is the only chip that matters. And one of the things that we should consider is whether or not we are going to break into the vault, getting the money, because that means we successfully order ourselves in 1, 2, 3, 4 order with the red chips only. We're going to flip all of our cards over here in a second and see, did we actually order ourselves in the correct order, or did we set off the alarm? And we essentially didn't. We had somebody out of order. We didn't value each other. We weren't doing it correctly. And so that's going to be it. And if you get to 3 losses, you lose the game. But if you get to 3 successes, you win the game. And so you might just be playing 3 games and losing, or 3 and winning. But hopefully you might get a little bit of both to see how things go. So just before I flip over the cards to show you how it works, this is that gameplay. We just walked through it. Round 1 is pre-flop. White chips. Round 2 is the yellow chips is the flop. Round 3 is going to be the orange chips. That's the turn. And then round 4 is the river. And this is what matters. Once you get to the correct order, you win. You're going to get that success. Or if you fail, you're going to get that alarm broken. And the game ends when you win or when you lose with 3 cards of either. So I don't know what these players are doing. I was kind of faking it. So I'm not going to draw this. This jack really, really scares me because I'm not sure my 10s are going to do it. I don't even have anything else with my 6s. So maybe I take this guy. He was pretty strong the whole time. And then let's just keep these 2 where they are. So now we are going to just look. And again, we do not know necessarily what the other players were, but we want players to be in this order. The best hand, the second best hand, the third best hand, the fourth best hand. A 9-4 is pretty bad. Oh, the set. No, he had the best hand and he probably would have taken it. Because those 8s on the flop, you just go, oh, I just did a set. And then same hand for, no, 2 pair. These 2 are switched and I should have been second to last. So essentially this would have gone here, right, with the 2 pair and the jack kicker. This one had the 3 8s, and then I had the 10 6s, but I don't have any extra 6s. So this card beat me out. So I should have been second, and then this guy just had a whole handful of nothing. So this is how the gang works. And again, this is a cooperative poker game, and you can see how with 3 players, it's a little bit easier. With 4, 5, 6 players, it gets harder. It gets so much harder to put yourself in order when you have 5 people that you're considering outside of yourself. This is fun. This is fun. And guess what? You have advanced play. Would you like to play with maybe a couple more like wrenches in the plan? Then you can play with this. So the first thing is going to be this particular deck, and you want to keep them numbered 1 to 10. You are going to flip over this particular card. This card is called a challenge card. And it says right here, quick access. Immediately after dealing pocket cards. Oh, let's look at it. Do not distribute white chips. Immediately move to round 2 and reveal the first 3 community cards. Woo-wee! So the cool thing about this is for that particular game, whenever you're doing your white all the way to red, this card is in play, which skips people giving information about their pre-flop cards, which is helpful. It's good to have that white chip information. Now, if you are successful with your hand, you essentially get a win. You will move on to the next challenge card in order. So you'll go to number 2. This says noise sensors. Immediately after dealing pocket cards, flip the 1-star chips from rounds 1, 2, and 3 to the dark side. These chips cannot change owners after they've been taken from the center of the table. Remember how I told you could change ownership? This prevents it. Oh, that is so cool. So you'll see that there is a dark side right here. On the back of all these chips, there's the dark side. Oh, so let's say, for instance, you fail with one of these challenge cards. Uh-oh, you set off the alarm, you weren't successful, the challenge really thwarted your plans as a team. Then, for the next hand, you will come to the specialist deck. And the specialist, there's 1 to 10. You flip over your specialist and you get to have a boost. This one says informant. One of you shows one other player one of your pocket cards. That gives them intel, that gives them information, that's the informant. And then you'll play. Now, if you fail, again, you'll get another specialist, but if you are successful, then you'll go back to the challenges. And it gives you this extra boost or this extra challenge that might get in your way and just gives the game a little bit more zhuzh, more friction, especially if you have fewer players. I think it works really well to add those for 3 to 4 player games. The 5 and 6 player games, good luck. It's already challenging enough, but this game is so stinking fun. It is delightful. And again, I had no idea. It never even crossed my mind to make poker into a cooperative game where there is that telling of what your hand is simply by the act of taking a chip that is in comparative order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Wow. So good. Now there is a lot of shuffling. Anytime you play poker, Texas Hold'em or anything like that, you have to shuffle the deck every time before you deal out cards to players. So just make sure that you are ready to deal, ready to shuffle. But that's it, because it's just a ton of fun. Players have their hand ranking card in front of them, and they also have their gameplay card. And you're going to either 3 break-ins, right? Because this has like a kind of like thief, heisty feel to it, which is really fun. Or you are setting off the alarm and you lose. So, win, lose, you check it out. This is so much fun. So, The Gang, cooperative poker game. Wow, just so much fun. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.